Good morning. I'd like to call the Highway and Waterways Committee meeting of Thursday, July 18th to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Carrico?
Present.
Mr. Dennell? Mr. Featherly? Mr. Snipes?
Present.
Mr. Miller? Mr. Kirkstra?
Present.
Mr. Smith?
Present.
Mr. Ashcraft? Ms. Rittman-Akemi? Ms. Turner?
Present.
Mr. Wheeler? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? We have a quorum.
Thank you. We need to have a motion to allow Ms. Turner to join the meeting via Zoom. Mr. Smith, second. Okay. Got there. Kirkstra. All in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign.
Question, Chair?
Yes, sir.
Could we make this a little bit easier? I know Amber has some conflicts around this time of day because of the job. Could we make this evergreen for it to fit with the work schedule so we don't have to vote each time?
Make what? I'm sorry.
Just vote the motion in the second, make it evergreen for this committee.
Okay.
So we don't have to keep voting on it every time. She misses because of work.
She misses because of work. It's a regular thing now, which is fine. We all have, things to do. So it's like.
So you're gonna make this a permanent thing?
If it's okay with the motion in the second, that was going to be my suggestion.
Is that okay with the motion? It's okay that she can,
Where it's work related.
Yeah.
Miss,
It's okay.
Mr. Kirkstra, it's okay?
Yeah.
They can,
I'm
yeah,
sorry?
I say it's consistent with our bylaws. If they're at work, they can come by Zoom. So to make it, to have it where we don't have to do it every time is
Okay.
reasonable. So I would second the motion.
So everybody okay with that? So the motion carries. Okay, thank you. All right. Public comments, I don't have any public comments in front of me. Is there any public comments? Any public comments? Hear none. Next will be the, let's do the approval of the minutes first, and then we'll do a live motion for something else here that we need to move. Can I have a motion in a second to approve the minutes from June the 20th, 2024? Kirkstra, second by? Okay. I think that was Rittman, yeah. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, same sign. So what we need to do here is, Greg needs to leave a little early to take care of some issues when it comes to the highway. So we're gonna need a motion in a second to move the highway up. Okay, Kirkstra and Snipes. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign. Okay. Okay, Greg, go ahead. Is going to be, first will be the county engineer and pay estimates. And what we've done in the past, we always have a motion to combine, to approve and open up for some questions if you have. So if you can do that, it'll be great. Motion to combine and approve the county engineer pay estimates.
I make a motion to combine and approve. Second.
Okay. Got a motion on the second. Everybody in favor? Not right now. Let's just do the. Go ahead, Ms. Greg.
All right. First one, Kankakee County. Pay estimate number 1 to AC pavement striping for microsurfacing on county roads in the amount of $306,639.05 from the county MFT fund. Next is Kankakee County. Pay estimate 2 to Grasso Construction for seal coating county highways in the amount of $56,927.35 from the county MFT fund. Next is Kankakee County. Pay estimate 1 to Kankakee Valley Construction Company for cold mix patch asphalt in the amount of $1,252.50 from the county MFT fund. Next, Kankakee County. Pay estimate 1 to Kankakee Valley Construction for a hot mix for permanent patching on our roads in the amount of $1,647 from the county motor fuel tax fund. Next, Kankakee County. Pay estimate 8 to Vulcan Construction Materials for stone used on various county highways in the amount of $1,242.35 from the county MFT fund. Next, Bourbonnais Township, pay estimate 1 to AC pavement striping for microsurfacing on township roads. And this is two numbers, $249,018.00 from the township MFT fund, and $384,017.32 of the township local funds. Kankakee Township, pay estimate 1 to AC pavement striping for microsurfacing on township roads in the amount of $16,388.42 from the township MFT fund. Next, Aroma Township, pay estimate 1 to Grasso Construction for oil and chipping township roads, the amount of $70,120.91 from the township MFT fund. Moments Township, pay estimate 1 to Grasso Construction for oil and chipping township roads, the amount of $101,919.28 from the township MFT fund. Otto Township, pay estimate 1 to Grasso Construction, oil and chipping township roads in the amount of $119,217.69 from the township MFT fund. Salina Township, pay estimate 1 to Grasso Construction for oil and chipping township roads in the amount of $47,664.08 from their township MFT fund. St. Anne Township, pay estimate 1 to Grasso Construction for oil and chipping township roads, the amount of $93,242.96 from the township MFT fund. Pembroke Township, pay estimate 1 to Pembroke Township for equipment rental for use of their vehicles to maintain the roads for reimbursement from the Township Motor Fuel Tax Fund in the amount of $14,885.94. And last one is Kankakee County, pay estimate 3 to Engineering Resource Associates. They handle our bridge inspection services throughout the county, and this is the amount of $7,604.00 from the county bridge fund.
Any questions or comments about the pay estimates? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Well, let's make a motion and a second to approve the county engineer pay estimates, please. You already have a motion? I thought we had a motion to combine. Combine and approve at the same time? Okay, so roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Snipes?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Rittman-Ekemi? Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Wheeler? Motion carries.
Thank you. State Line Bridge update.
Okay, I'm gonna try to make a long story short. Back in the day, the original Indiana removed a bridge, and part of the, I guess, mitigations for removing that bridge was for us to rebuild State Line Bridge. Well, it was under a memorandum of agreement, which has since expired. Since then, they've come up, FHWA has come up with a new memorandum of agreement, which eliminates the responsibility of us to rebuild the State Line Bridge. So that's good news for us. Bridge would be removed by the Indiana River Commission, since they own the easement where that bridge is located right now. So as of now, we're not expected to rebuild the bridge. And so that's good news on that front.
In the interest of time, if anyone has questions on that, they can ask me afterwards. I was bringing Greg up to speed on this because me and Mark Rogers were working on it 10 years ago, and now it's finally come to fruition. So just to let you guys know, there's more answers and more in-depth, just to let him get out the door because he does have an appointment.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So Greg, what do you have for the Mantino acquisition?
Just what we've been up to in the last, since the last month. We have come to agreement on there's 10 parcels that we need to acquire to improve the road, County Highway 9 between Route 45 and Route 57. We've reached agreement with all the property owners on a price. The grand total of which is $336,911, if anyone's keeping track. There are many steps that need to be taken along the way. For instance, the documents need to be recorded. So we have 8 of them out of the 10 recorded. We're waiting for 2 more, waiting for the information to come back from the property owners. They need to fill out conveyance documents, and then we take them and get them recorded. Our state's attorney has certified that these 8 that we've recorded are okay, and we're ready to send them to IDOT. What we have done is sent the first parcel we acquired to IDOT, because we don't want to send 10 and then they say, well, they're all wrong. We were going to send 1, see what their changes are, if any. If they have changes, then we can apply that to the other 9 before we turn them in and save some time in the long run. And once we send all the packages in with all the information IDOT requires, then we need them to certify that, at which point then we can get to a bid letting and get that road under construction. We'll still have some utilities that need relocating. We're still working with them, ComEd, Aqua, Kinder Morgan. There's all gonna, if it all works out, the utilities can relocate through the fall and the winter, and come springtime, we'll be ready to build a road.
Any questions? No questions, no comments? Okay. So that's the end of your
Okay.
report.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good luck over there.
Thank you.
Okay, 12.
No, yeah. Good morning. I just wanted to say that Greg gave me a tour of the county facility that he runs. And when you live in the country, you're very aware when you see those yellow-orange trucks. And they have did a great job in the county, especially since this recent storm, and picking up all the limbs and bushes. So I just wanted to say thank you, Greg, and thank you to your people.
Thank you for the kind words.
I thought I had another somebody else with the.
It was me. Basically, I just want to thank Greg for jumping in the deep end, no pun intended, on all this river stuff. And then, you know, it's something new for him, even though he's not foreign to a lot of the engineering principles we're talking about. It's definitely different, and there's a lot of history here. So the other side of it was the Highway 9 thing. The thing that just kind of flew under everybody's nose here is probably the biggest deal. It's huge. That's a major artery in this area that is being built. And people talk about the roads like it's a mattress store. It's not a joke. It's true. This is a big deal. So is Armour Road, and we're behind both of those projects. Just want to let everybody know here. So people start asking about, you know, what's going on in the county as far as what we're doing. We're rebuilding the infrastructure, not just at the courthouse. Okay? Thanks, Greg.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, we're gonna go to the waterways now, and I think we have AJ with us online here for, believe he's gonna come and give us a little bit of an update on the Aroma Park sentiment progress update here.
Yes, good morning. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Yes, be glad to provide an update on the Aroma Park Boat Launch Dredge project. The project is going well. We've had several contractors interested in the project, and they have downloaded the drawings and project manual. We conducted a pre-bid meeting yesterday for the prospective bidders to learn more about the project and give them an opportunity to ask questions. That meeting was not mandatory, but we did have some contractors show up and ask some really good questions for clarification. So we will work on responding to their questions to provide clarification as needed during the bidding process. And we are still on track to have bids come in and be due on August 13th.
Any questions for AJ? No? No questions? is there any addition to his comment? Yes, please.
I'm not gonna open up my phone. Is the 13th, that's the full board Tuesday? So that, we will open those bids before the full board. This committee will meet then for our monthly meeting. I just wanted to remind everybody that we're moving that meeting up, so we don't have to have 2 meetings, but we're moving it up to open those bids. If everything looks okay, approve whatever, accept the bid, pending further review and, you know, blah, 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 lowest qualified bidder. I just want to make sure everybody understood the timeline. Because what we want to do is we want to get people in the water working as quickly as we can. We don't want to wait a whole nother month.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Thanks, AJ.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity.
Next will be information on the Indiana River Commission. I believe, Chairman Wheeler, you have some.
Thank you.
You have a lot of the information on your packet, by the way. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And that's what I did, is I just put the information in the packet. Read it on your own time. You know, we don't necessarily have to go through and, you know, you can attend these meetings virtually if you want to see what we do. Somebody said, "Wow, you go all the way back to." I can't remember, is it Knox? I'm like, we're back in Plymouth, not the Rock, but you know, in Indiana. So it's you know, we're going all the way back to the source in Indiana and correcting it in both the sediment situation and the bridge situations. You know, those old abandoned bridges that just are cow catchers for trees, much like the state line bridge. And I believe the number is around 30,000 either dead and leaning or already fallen trees have been taken out. So those were coming to us. They've peeled back the banks of sand, if you will, because they're not soil, they're sand that we're calving into the river, and it's actually working. You can see the bottom of the river in the Yellow River, which you couldn't see 2 years ago. So I just wanted to mention that there is a group in Indiana that has a 40-year work plan that includes things for our side of the river, once again to mention that need to mate up with both of the states, counties, groups, whatever, because the river is still the river. It doesn't, you know, the state line changes nothing except a little bit of geography. If there's any specific questions, please get with me offline. But you see what's going on over there in Indiana, and it's a lot. It's quite a bit. The other thing was the state line bridge thing. I can answer questions here about that if you have any.
That was just an issue that we've been discussing to try to alleviate the problems that we had there from the beginning, basically.
Yeah, there were 2 problems with the state line bridge. The first one is that the agreement we signed 20 years ago, because the bridge hasn't been used for 20 years, was to for the feds to come in and repair one bridge, we had to agree to repair this bridge with Indiana, SHPO, Federal Highway, all the different counties that are in the area, Newton, Kankakee County, not Jasper, I think Jasper was part of it, and Lake County, Indiana. So we were all supposed to get together and fix the bridge. Well, at the time they thought our part of it was going to be around $230,000. That wasn't the approaches. That was just the bridge. Well, the bids came back in at $7 million. So our end of it would have been $2.5 million, which is just stupid money because you still couldn't have driven modern vehicles across the bridge, but you couldn't fix it to be a walking bridge. So we had this, I called I'll say it again, a cyclone of stupid. We had to talk about it for 8 years to be able to convince the feds that, wow, if we mitigate this bridge, it's not really a mitigation. Now we're to the point of who owns the land, who controls it, and the control really of the easement is, per an act of the Indiana legislature, is the Indiana River Commission that I'm on, not Lake County. So Lake County's transferring, that's what's going on right now, is the transferring of that bridge and the property, the project. They're paying for it all. Once that, as soon as that I is dotted and T is crossed, then we'll be able to reallocate our funds from Highway Department towards known other projects. We've been sitting on that as a budgetary item for the better part of 15 years. So it's a long, I figure it was worthwhile talking about it because there's a lot of history there and a lot I'm leaving off the table. But let me know if there's any questions. This should alleviate the problem along with obvious, removing 30,000 trees or so, of where the trees get wedged under the state line bridge and it turns the north part of the river into, much like when you put your thumb over a garden hose, it increases the pressure. It shoots the water right at the shoreline on the Illinois side and was eating 5 to 10 feet of shoreline every year. That is a massive improvement to the channel of the river. And then we'll see from there where we go on the Illinois side, because obviously we don't have funds to address that.
Okay. Questions, comments?
And I'm sure we'll be seeing AJ again when we start talking about stuff up there, because they've got a lot of history in that area. With Sivash Beck, I don't know if you remember him, but he's come in. He's a hydrologist engineer that is part of Christopher Burke. He worked on the 40-year work plan. He's very knowledgeable about our side of the state line and the Indiana side. So is that a pretty good, fair assessment of the relationship we currently have and maybe into the future?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. All right, so moving on here. This is a special moment here. We're gonna go over some appointments. Wait, okay. AJ, do you have anything else that you want to add, or if not, if you have, if you're busy there and then need to go, that will be fine.
Sure. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add other than we'll continue to work with the appropriate county staff to answer any questions that the bidders have, and we'll be responsive to those, and we will await those bids coming in on August the 13th.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for your time. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so like I started saying, it's a special time for us here today on this committee for the, we're gonna go over some of the appointment for the Kankakee members of the Kankakee Waterways Advisory Subcommittee. And as you can see there on the third item there on the waterways, that's the beginning of the names for the appointments there. And we have a total of 8 with the addition of the last one, which will be 3 members that are applying for the last position for the at-large. So from the first one to the number 8, if you do not have any objections, or if you wanted to consider anything separate, I'd like to have a motion to combine from number 1 to number 8 of the appointments, to combine to appoint. Okay, Mr. Smith made the motion, second by?
I'll second it now that I understand fire does not mean fire. It means rural fire.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a motion in a second. So I'm gonna go over that before we go into a vote. So the first one is appointment of Joe Donovan, Kankakee Waterways. All of them are gonna be for the Kankakee Waterways Advisory Committee, and that one person is from both clubs. Second is Brendan Supranant from Farm Bureau. Third is James Frog from Soil and Waterways Water District. And then Sam Thomas from Norton, Illinois Anglers Association. And Dennis Johnson from Kankakee County Drainage District. Scott O'Brien from Rural Fire Rescue. And the last, is Richard Schultz from at large. And another one at large, which is Monjo? Yeah.
Monjoy.
Yeah, Monjoy. That will be the one at large. Any questions or comments on those first 8 members? Mr. Chairman?
I'll make the motion to combine and approve if it hasn't been made.
The motion was already made.
All right.
All right. Any questions and comments? No? I think we can do a voice vote, right? Yeah. All right, so if let's do this. Everybody in favor, signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries, thank you. Next will be the last item under the appointment here. We have for the appointment at large for the Kankakee Waterways Advisor Subcommittee, we have 3 individuals that apply for to be appointed: Mark Hodak, Thomas Peterson, and Wayne Crosby. Winnie. Okay, thank you, Winnie Crosby. So we got those 3, and what we need to do with that, Mr. Reeler.
And this is kind of a good problem to have. So don't think that what we're going to do here is something that's a negative. I would say that I had hoped this would happen, that we had more applicants than spots, because this is a subcommittee. It's an advisory group, which by definition we should encourage more voices in the room. But there's only a certain number of votes that we have legislated into this. And if you think about the nature of those votes, they don't have control of money. They have control of prioritization within that group, or of strategic processes, or of a work project, i.e., I don't know, does there need to be a second river cleanup day? I'm just throwing something out there. It's not relevant, but they would debate the issue and then bring a recommendation back here. Or what do we start with? What are the top 10 things that they, from their perspective, think that need to be worked on for us to enjoy the river until the big fix? So my thought would be, and by the way, also you look for representation around the county for people on the river from different skill sets, but also specific skill sets with the river. So the group that we have here, and I encourage anybody to introduce themselves to Jim Froggy over here and Mr. Schultz. Richard, these gentlemen have been involved with river stuff and have a high degree of acumen. They're in the back of the room here. As far as Mr. Hodak, Peterson, and Winnie Crosby, I would recommend that we appoint Winnie Crosby to the voting member spot and then invite Mr. Hodak to be an alternate, because there may be a day that somebody can't show up and vote, and he can still come. Mr. Peterson can still come, but as far as having an official alternate, we could do that as well. So I would just say maybe the committee, my motion would be to appoint Winnie Crosby for the stated reasons of diversity, representation on the board, the area that she lives, Sun River Terrace, and then also to reach out to others to become part of this. And in the case of Mr. Hodak, is an official, alternate if somebody can't be there to vote that day, knowing that they can't make a decision for taxpayer resources. It's just a recommendation anyway. What do you think? I'm trying to think of a way to bring more people into the tent than push people out of it. So the motion would need a second on the appointment, and then the other stuff would obviously.
Okay.
You're asking for a motion on
Winnie Crosby. Winnie Crosby.
Winnie Crosby.
To be the final appointee as far as voting member, but also with that motion to reach out to Mr. Hodak and to see if he would be an alternate, and then obviously to remind people that we need to get more people in the room. There may be other committees, a public outreach subcommittee that Mr. Peterson and Mr. Hodak could head up. I don't know. I don't know what this committee wants to do.
So I would ask for that to be an appointment. The 2 other people, the Peterson here and Hodak, no?
No.
Could we just ask them if they know? What I'm saying is that the appointment would go to Winnie, okay, Crosby.
Mr. Kirkster, can you speak to the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but the appointment, you're asking for the appointment of Winnie Crosby.
Correct.
Okay, for at-large member for the Kankakee, but you don't want to discourage any other participation in the within the committee, to assist the committee. So the other 2 people that are not being appointed, we could encourage them this is not a stain on, we still want your views.
Mhm.
So, we would appreciate if you would still join our committee, you know, on an advisory basis.
2 cents.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's your motion, I would approve, I would make that motion.
You second the motion?
I'll second that motion if that's what he's.
Okay. Mr. Snipes?
Well, I'm not objecting to Wayne Crosby. I would say, similar to what they do in the jury, there are 2 alternates, just in case. And so I'm not, I'm hoping that if I'm understanding the motion, that we will consider Mr. Mark Hodak and Thomas Peterson as alternates in the interim. So that way, if someone happens to leave or whatever, there are individuals there. They do have a voice, just not the vote. But the more the merrier, because we're dealing again at large with our river throughout the county. So I would not be opposed, if it's not already stated, but to amend it to consider them as alternates just in case we would need them. That way we don't have to go through the process again, because we have 2 alternates just in case someone may or may not be able to fulfill their obligations in the future or step down, etc. So as alternates, I think that would be more plausible, because, you know, again, like it was expressed, we don't want anyone turned away, but definitely the more the merrier for the for this particular ad hoc committee that we have, or this advisory committee that we're having. Okay. And also, I would ask them to correct that the word appointment is just a transition, the N before the T.
Now, I just want to remind you, everyone, that in a situation like this, generally you have the applicant's information on your package, so you probably had enough time to read them. And generally, when they come in, we'll be open to ask questions, but we don't have those individuals here present today. That's why we're just gonna be. We had a motion already to select one individual with the alternates in that case. Now, we already have a motion in the second, and I'm gonna go back to Mr. Reeler that originally made the motion to only have Mr. Hodak as an alternate, but according to your comments, you're asking if that could be, make that is the alternates to be both of them, Mr. Peterson and Mr. Hodak. So I will go back to the person that made the original motion. Go ahead, sir.
If the goal is to not have to come back, I would let the motion go the way it was originally made, of appointing one person and then asking the other 2 if they'd be interested in that situation before we do it and then have to come back and undo it. So I would say that a phone call is worth more than the committee's time in that aspect. So it's same outcome. We'll know what they want to do, but it's not officially an alternate, because I think we'd have to amend the original motion where we created the subcommittee. So let's ask them first, and if you can't have 30,000 alternates, so you know that is one thing. So it is somewhat limited, but you could have 100 people that show up to put their 2 cents in on something. So if you give me a little bit of time, we can call those folks. We don't, but to appoint them now as alternates and they're not interested in that, we've just started another process. That's my opinion. Let's finish this and then we'll move to that if they're interested.
So you're saying that we'll continue with the motion and having the 2 alternates here as if they accept to be an alternate to those later on.
No,
No?
we're just going to ask them, and then if there is, then I would say that probably the subcommittee should decide and then make a recommendation to us if you want it to function like a true
So
subcommittee.
just go ahead, just to.
Yeah. I would want to reach out. It's not this complicated. It really isn't. I mean, it's just not. We talk about things that cost $900,000 for 5 minutes here, and we're 20 minutes into this. This is an advisory group that we're asking people to join.
Right.
I'm asking to appoint one person. There's
One
a
person.
motion and a second. After that, we can see what happens with the group.
Okay. Mr. Snipes?
And in this case, that's why I said we would, no objection to Wayne Crosby, but because we do have two other individuals or whatever, he says he's gonna reach out to see if they, in fact, may want to, and if that's the case, then we can reach that decision at that particular time. But my thing is, I just wanted to make sure, since we had these individuals and these two names appeared upon the list, that we, as a courtesy of the county, who appreciates the fact that individuals want to be inclusive of the river, would, we would have those as considerations without having to come back again and again, or whatever. If we do have them, it's just there. Not that they would be a part of the motion, but again, as he said, you'll reach out to them as a, in a conversation to see if they really want to, and then we can at that particular time address it. So there's no objection to the appointment of Mr. Wayne Crosby. It's just for conversation purposes, I didn't want to lose the other two in the process. And so since he's going to reach out to them, that's fine with me.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to appoint Ms. Crosby for that position. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign. Okay, thank you. Is there any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Any new business? Any other business?
I make a motion, we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to adjourn. Can I have a second? Second. Mr. Smith. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign.